first foil with the diagonal, the blue one, we call the blue, so it's vertical diagonal, will start on the hairline. And all the horizontal diagonals, the red one, won't touch the parting zone. With that. So we go with a baby light. So baby light is really micro stitch with a small regrow. And try to not having bigger than a peace sign. Like, not just because it's a certification, it's just really because this technique will help you to have that. So you do your baby line, so you go like at 1 centimeter from, if you can see, you can stand and come closer. And you just do 1 on 2 to create the baby line. So that will create a small regrow, but in the same time that will touch to the scalp. It won't be like a hard line. So that would be like the first foil. So now we have our blue one. So it's the vertical diagonal. Now we want the other one. So we need to have like a imaginary line, then we cannot cross. And it will be like forward. So your vertical line is the top of the foil. You see, you will isolate this section with the vertical. Like that. Now we go to do the other one. So the diagonal horizontal. So now I was like diagonal vertical. Everyone can see. So now we switch to be like still diagonal back, but more horizontal. And now you can go back. You cannot go forward of the top of your foot, but you can go back. And that would be, you go to the back of the head, and you will take all this section. I know it's bigger from the person did the certification, but we won't do the root. We will do only like a balayage section. Juliette, do you mind to look in my stuff to take my blur brush? So now we don't go to the roots, so it's okay to do that, and we just paint the side to create kind of a balayage stuff. So the first part will be like really micro stitch. Do you find it? Thank you. So now you can like do your blur brush, and you have your second foil. Of course, they cannot be to the scalp because it's too wide, but it's still the balayage section. So now we alternate with the other one. So what would be the other foil? The vertical. So you go to the top of the foil. Now we're like back, and we switch to be more like diagonal back, but more vertical. We go farther. So now we have our section, and we do which kind of foil? Baby line. So we do the baby line. We paint it at about 1 centimeter. And what we do on top?
Close to the root.
We just blend 1 on 2 strands. So now what we have to do?
Horizontal diagonal.
Horizontal, but do you need, what we need to preserve our like imaginary line in front. Why are we doing that? Well, we need to reserve some hair from. For the softness. That's what, if I'm doing my horizontal to here, like I take this balayage.
Oh, too big.
Will be big, but as well the next foil, I won't be able to go here. So my next one will be here. So the distance between the two foils will be so wide that I create a huge contrast. Because the contrast is not just in the foil about the stitch, it's as well between the foil. So all the contrast you will get. So it's why you need to isolate the front section, because you don't want to have too much like space between two foils. Now you do like so diagonal but more horizontal. You can go to the back. You see how much coverage you have already with 4 foil?
Would you charge a full head or a half a head for this service?
What do you think?
Full.
Yeah, money is sexy.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Because it's not because you know how to maximize your effort, then you need to charge less. Actually, you need to charge more because you're probably not paying extra money to do like a roots touch-up. Try to put the roots because you know how to deal with that. Actually, we use so much principle in this technique because you know that I can charge for that. So what will be the next one? Okay, how I can find that? Just like pivot. What's a good word? Pivot? No? Pivot. Pivot. You can learn French today. So when you do that, you can work with different projects. You can work with
I need to get up there and look.
like 20 volume liner on
I'm going to send you guys the video on Messenger.
The balayage to have more lift.
The 2 videos I've done so far.
Work with the eye lift on top and a liner on the bottom. Darker color. So now we have the imaginary lines and we don't want to cross. Maybe next. Balayage. You see? Now we go, more we go forward, more coverage we have. So here we start to having a lot of weight overlaying each other's section. And we have only 6 floors.
So that's giving you more lightness at the bottom and keeping the top soft.
Yeah. So you will have more lift in the bottom and really definition on top. And only one step application.
Love it.
And you treat this more as like an overlay of color as opposed to like a traditional, because that's not, what's that going to do for the back?
On the back,
Yeah. Is it just going to lay over?
you don't have any. That's lay over.
Oh, okay.
You can have one if you have a lot of hair in the crown area.
Okay.
But we just think about like the first horizontal then you put on, going to the middle section. So
Right.
this hair here will fall over it, but you will have color here.
Cool.
So that will create dimension. Just
Okay.
doing that. Because you can go like for the back with your section, but not in front of your foil because of the effect. So now we have only 6 foil and we're close to be done. Crazy. About how you said that. So slowly what will happen is the foil won't like connect anymore. What we need to do in this way is just because they connect a little bit. They are like kind of a bricklayed together. So now they won't. After like 6, you will have really separate like foil.
The tricky part is doing that on the other side. The tricky part is doing that on the other side, replicating.
Yeah. But is it a big deal if it's not perfectly even? Because you let a little regrow and you can see like in between.
Right.
Like you can see like this white has become so light in the end and you can have like darker pieces and stuff. And if you do like a shadow roof on top, that would create again a lot of more dimension than if you're not having. You will see one of our model will have like the same color technique, but she's having darker hair and she don't have like the roots touch up. You will see it look like a little bit more less softness, a little bit more contrast, and it's really different looking. So now we need to isolate the front section.
Did you say you use 8N and color gels on the roof?
Yeah, 8N color gel. Yeah, I love the N in the new lacquers. They are really ashy and beautiful.
Yeah.
And the NA as well. Did you have the? Do you have yet the new lacquers in your salon?
Yeah.
Yeah. and the NA are so nice as well. So now would be the balayage.
You're alternating.
What's the next step? The
Vertical, diagonal.
first of all is the vertical, so the blue one. After imaginary line, the red one, so the horizontal one. And it's all the time the same. Okay.
It's remembering to put in that vertical line.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah.
The vertical one.
Yeah.
So now we have like only 3/4 left, and we'll be done with this technique. So you can do like one really in front. I will just miss one here. The one. Is it okay if I'm passing
Mm-hmm.
the first one? Won't do this one because eating lunch is arrived and stuff. So now, over here, it's a hot tip you can use for all when you foil everything. It's just sometimes you have some guests, they say, I want to see it when I do a ponytail. Yeah, we know those ones. So my tip with them, what I find was the best, is to like take a small section, and instead to do like my stitch on this way, I would use with the hairline. So you just like put everything up, so you will be really close to the hairline to do in an opposite way. So she will see it. Then you just go. Okay. So that will touch her hairline, and she won't complain anymore. So you can do that with all the perimeter. So that is a tip to just like foil up.
She'll find something else. The client, she'll find something else to explain.
Oh yeah.
Do you weave all of them? Like all the, are you weaving every piece? Like
On top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
slice.
use slice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do slice. You can like do a regular one. Sometimes for the bottom, like if she want to have more dimension, instead of doing like a slice, I would do like skip, slice, skip, and that will create still a lot of balayage. But the only thing I told you is about ends. Ends need friends. So when you do that, like when I'm doing foliage, I don't like do my stitching.
Yeah.
Stitch. My stitch from the top, I look at the bottom, what I have left. Like if you look at Eureka, she don't have that much left, so yeah, I'm doing that. I'm close to be like, you look, close to being like a slice. So when you do foliage, you be sure to look at the ends, because if not, you will have a lot of dimension here, but no in the bottom. So when you look at what you have left, you'll say, oh, I will take everything.
Yeah.
Make sense? Did you learn something?
Yes.
Yes?